Ladies and gentlemen, here we are once again. How's everybody been doing? We got another Community Steel video today, and I'm going to kick off the first vehicle from Cat. Well, actually, it's Pigeon. And this is his GMT M43. It is a 38-ton medium tank for the late war period. It is armed with a 77mm main gun, and it's got 168mm of penetration. The gun actually seems pretty solid, and actually the armor seems pretty solid too, and so does the mobility. It's kind of got everything going for it, really. It's actually not a bad-looking vehicle. I don't think so. Mobility's pretty decent. I'm not just talking speed. I'm also talking about by the way it maneuvers and things of that nature. And honestly, it kind of feels like it's inspired by like a T-34, although the turret is quite different and bigger than like that of a T-34-85. But I can see that inspiration there for it. And even the hull is very T-34-like as well. As you can see here, getting some of the maneuverability going, maneuvering around here a bit. And this is actually supposed to be a captured vehicle, although I don't remember who's supposed to be the originator or who captured it, but, well, it's a Russian captured vehicle, I do believe. For some odd reason, though, the paint did not seem to load. I'm not sure if that might have been something on my end that I missed, that I had custom paint, because this is not the paint job on the vehicle. This is not what it looked like in the screenshots that he had shared. But all in all, it is a good vehicle, even good at long range. As you can see here, I'm engaging some Tiger tanks right now, and this is actually a pretty long range shot that I'm going for. Staying hull down, that way it increases the chances of the enemy tanks missing or hitting an area with strong armor, such as the turret. The gun depression is actually rather good, which makes it pretty handy. Gonna try and get another shot in here on this Tiger. So, I mean, there you go. As you can see, the gun itself is very effective. Works pretty damn good. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. And the next one is from Warhammer 40K for sure. This is from Sergey00102. And this is his Ski Karan. I don't know. You know what? It looks like a classic Land Raider. For anybody who remembers the old Rogue Trader days back in what would that be? That'd be first edition Warhammer 40K or second edition Warhammer 40K. I can't quite recall. But this reminds me of a very old Land Raider model, actually, or something very similar to, and it weighs in at 130.5 tons. Now on the main turret there, it's got twin 90mm guns. And then it's got, on the side sponsons, it's got twin 50mm guns, pretty much acting as laser cannons, although the penetration is not as good on those as they are on the 50s. And then it's got a hull-mounted 20mm gun, hull-mounted 25mm main gun, and that acts as a heavy bolter. And yeah, wow, this thing is... Well, this thing is hell on tracks. I mean, this would create some really nasty chaos. It is made for the late war period, and he's actually got it done in Iron Warriors colors, so I think that's actually pretty cool. Obviously, though, I mean, this being a 40K tank, you could make some color changes to it, use different armies. You could probably use it for Ultramarines if you wanted to. Ultra Smurfs, Blood Ravens, Black Templars, Rainbow Warriors. It just keeps going on and on and on. Letting loose there with heavy bolters, you can see. And it's actually pretty cool. And when you actually look through the gunnery scope of the heavy bolter, it's actually got like the heavy bolter front sight. Although it's kind of blocky, but you know, that's what you get with Warhammer 40K anyway. Mobility is rather good. I didn't get to test out the armor, but I imagine that is also just absolutely tops. This thing is just awesome. I mean, if there was anybody who's done a Warhammer 40K tank, this is spot on. Good job, Sergey. And the next vehicle we have here is from Sean Lennox, and this is the Bane Blade at Home. Okay, it's the Lurks Bane. And as you can see here, it's got 2 guns. It's armed with a 128mm main gun with 215mm of penetration. And then it also has a secondary 105mm main gun with 254mm of penetration. This is for the late war period, and it weighs in at 75.7 tons. And this, well, this really reminds me of a Bane blade without the side sponses. That's kind of why I said that when you ask your mom for a Bane blade and she says, no, we have a Bane blade at home, this is the Bane blade at home. That being said, I don't think it's actually a bad looking vehicle. Mobility is kind of shit, but yeah, I mean, it's a big monstrous tank. What can you say? And that being said, its speed isn't bad. It's actually the cross-country capabilities is where this vehicle starts to lack. Climbing hills and things of that nature can really get this thing screwed up. Mostly because the vehicle is so low to the ground. So it definitely needs to be a bit higher. And that would definitely get rid of some of the issues that I had with the vehicle during testing. That being said, it's still 75.7 tons, so not a whole lot of missions you can use this in, if any, right now. But either ways, I imagine the armor's pretty good, and overall the design isn't bad, even though it didn't load properly. Alright, the next vehicle I have here is the Storm Tiger from Gaggles. This weighs in at 71 tons, which I actually do believe that's a little heavy. Quite heavy, actually, for a Storm Tiger. Now, he said he's got the side armor thinner than it actually the real tank was, but the front armor is actually pretty spot on. Now, that being said, as you can see here, I'm going up against Panzer II Lukes. Yeah, that 20mm main gun doesn't have much penetration. It's not going to penetrate this thing from the front. That being said, though, however, even though it's got a 250mm main gun, which is, I don't want to get into that because he showed me a screenshot saying it was a 380, but when I loaded in game, it showed 250. I don't know. It's only got 28mm of penetration. So actually, as a meme, and this is a meme, it's loaded with 8 armor-piercing high explosive, and it cannot penetrate these Panzer IIs. That's actually pretty sad. As you can see there, I bounced a shot clean off of it. But that being said, yeah, I mean, it's a really big gun. It doesn't actually per se need a lot of penetration for what it was designed to do, which essentially was be a bunker buster and to level a city block pretty much. Now, it does got some really the shell drop off is really bad on this, and that's because we don't really have the rocket assisted ammo that this thing actually would have been loaded with, and it's got a bit more armor than the ammo than the actual Sturm Tiger, as the Sturm Tiger I think could only carry like 6 shots or 8 shots. It wasn't too many, and it would actually have to have a vehicle following it that would have additional ammo. But yeah, not very effective gun wise. Mobility wise, pretty good. Armor's holding up, but that's about it. Alright, the next vehicle I have from here is from Dahu Chino, and this is his Batchat 155. Yes, folks, we got another SPG that I'm showing off here in Community Steel. Showing off quite a few SPGs, and I would say this is definitely one of the better ones. This is probably, I would say this is a hard number 2. Could be number 1. It's really tough. You know, a while ago, German Train did Atomic Annie, and I was just amazed by that, and that definitely put in a lot of work for that too. And I still feel the Atomic Annie is the number 1, but this is a really awesome rendition of the Batchat 155 from World of Tanks. Weighs in at 28 tons. Obviously, it's armed with the 155mm main gun. And it's got 166 millimeters of penetration. And boy, when that gun goes off, it is absolutely hilarious as a Thane rolls back about 10 feet or so. This is made for the late war period, and it does actually have the operational turret. And it is ridiculously fast. I was actually quite impressed by how fast this thing maneuvers. Now, I realize that it was based on the Batchat 155-55, so that explains why it's fast. I just wasn't sure he would actually follow through with it being fast until I actually got it loaded up and tried out. And as you can see there, even firing the gun over the side rocks the tank and makes it turn. So anyway, all in all, not bad. Definitely rolls pretty good. I like the speed on it. It maneuvers like a light tank. The speed is just awesome. I'm going to try to ramp off something here, get some air. Here we go, and I killed myself. It was fun while it lasted. Alright, the next vehicle I have here is from Gasman, and this is his Type 46. This weighs in at 37.3 tons. It is supposed to be a Chinese clone of the T-44. Now, it is armed with an 86 millimeter main gun, which, okay, fine. It's got 172 millimeters of penetration. It is for the late war period. Now, out of the T-54s, this one, or sorry, T-44s that I've shown, this is not a bad vehicle. I like the concept of this is a Chinese clone, so it's not a perfect spot-on rendition of a T-44. However, that being said, looks is kind of where it ends. Now, the gun does perform actually fairly well. The maneuverability is actually not bad, but the armor I found extremely unreliable. I am actually going up against Matilda tanks here and Carnarvons, and I actually, when I did the testing, I got killed by a Matilda from the front. I don't know where it hit though, because I couldn't see where the hit actually landed, but this thing's armor is definitely not reliable. And against contemporary tanks of the time, such as like the T-34-85, the Tiger, the Panther, the M4A3E8, like the list just goes on, this thing's armor would not be reliable with. Actually, during the testing, I got killed by a Panzer IV-G, which, yes, that is the longer-barreled anti-tank 75mm main gun. But, I mean, there was just a lot of vehicles. I could literally sit here and give a list of vehicles that was one-shotting this when I was going through the testing, which it's kind of upsetting to have vehicles one-shot this when I was pumping 2 and 3 shots into some vehicles with this and penetrating. So it's, I don't know, I feel that the armor piercing damage mechanics is kind of weird right now. Yeah, as you can see here, I just got killed. Oh, I got killed by Carnarvon this one, but yeah, so it is what it is. It's not a bad looking vehicle, and if I took more time and messed with it, I could definitely learn how to use it. But anyway, folks, short video today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and have yourself a wonderful day.